Hello Year 8 and welcome to today's lesson. We're going to start off by having a look at this starter image. So I'm slowly going to reveal the source and I want you to try and work out what you think could be happening here. So it looks like we might have someone praying, perhaps they're down on their knees. Then we seem to have these two gentlemen holding some kind of pole there. There's a man in front of the woman praying. Is he perhaps blessing her? Rather unexpectedly, he appears to be holding a child. Perhaps he snatched the child off the woman. And then here we have, on the top of the pole, an impaled child. So what we have here is an image of some men committing what we'd call a war crime, killing women and children. Clearly these men are supposed to be brutal, thugs, very evil for the crime of killing such innocents. Now they are supposed to be Irish Catholics, murdering Protestant Catholics, that is the woman and her children. But this is actually an example of fake news. So this is a piece of propaganda. It is not real. This event did not really happen. However, pamphlets such as this one, broadcasting the atrocities, the bad things that Catholics apparently were doing in Ireland to Protestants, were published all over England in 1641. They were part of the English Civil War and an attempt to drum up support for the parliamentary cause against the king and Catholicism. It was said that the king was going to be joined by an Irish Catholic army who were going to come over to England and commit these kind of atrocities here in England. So, a bit of fake news. It's not just Donald Trump. It's been there since the 1640s. Now, today we're going to be looking further at the causes of the English Civil War. And we're going to be looking specifically at the events that lead up to it. So we're going to look in detail at the events between 1625 and 1642 that lead up to the war. Now, on Show My Homework, you have a document entitled Events of the Civil War. The first thing I'd like you to do is download that from Show My Homework. Then, please can you cut up each card and arrange it in chronological order. That is, in time order. Now, there are a few cards that don't have a date on them. Just put those at the very start. So those get at the very start, then you should have 1625 and work your way chronologically from there. Now, what we've effectively made is a timeline describing the events leading up to the Civil War. So we know what events took place. Now we're going to start thinking about their relative importance. So which events were the ones that were most important in bringing about the Civil War, in bringing about conflict between the King and Parliament? So I'd like you to draw yourself a danger zone down the side of an A4 piece of paper. Now what I would do is I would take my margin on the piece of paper and just run a line down the margin. In the margin then write danger zone, just like we have here. You should have each of your different cards arranged chronologically down the page. Now we're going to look at each card in turn and think about how much did it contribute to civil war. Now, if it seems like something very dangerous that's really going to bring about civil war, we're going to arrange it in our page close to the danger zone. If it's something that probably didn't lead to civil war very much, we're going to take it away from the danger zone. Let's do one together so you can see how this works. So if we look at number 5 is all about the divine right of kings. So Charles believed he was appointed king by God, and therefore you couldn't question him. Now, that might lead to conflict with Parliament because he wouldn't like Parliament questioning him. So I might be tempted to put it in the middle of the page. It's certainly not going to be all the way over to danger zone. But do you know what? I'd be tempted to keep it further to the right, away from the danger zone. Because after all, Charles's father, James, believed in the divine right of kings, and there wasn't a civil war during his reign. That shows us that that doesn't necessarily mean a civil war might happen. So now let's have a look at another card. Let's try number 4 this time. Now, number 4 is all about ship money, this illegal tax. Now, this really angered Parliament, Charles raising a tax without them. Therefore, I think I would put it in the middle of the page, closer towards the danger zone than the previous card about the divine right of kings. But I don't think it's quite over into the danger zone yet. So keep your cards in chronological order, but move them left to right to show how important they were in bringing about civil war. If you think they were really important in bringing about civil war, move them really far to the left into the danger zone. If you think it wasn't that important, then keep it on the right-hand side of your page. Here's a summary of the task written out for you. You might want to keep on looking at it. Now, task number 4 there says colour code your cards. Now, you want to colour code the cards into the 3 main reasons for the Civil War. And they are fights over power, fights over religion, and fights over money. Okay, so colour code cards to do with power, cards to do with religion, and cards to do with money. This brings us to the end of our causes of the English Civil War work. What do you think is the most important reason for the English Civil War? Do you think it's a fight between king and parliament about who has the most power? Do you think it's a religious war about Catholicism versus Protestantism? Or do you think it's really all to do with money? Who controls the money in the kingdom? Is it the king or is it Parliament? I'd like you to finish off by doing a P paragraph. What was the most important single cause of the Civil War? Power, money, or religion? Now, it's really important that you explain why you think that. So the most important word we have in this sentence is because. I think this because. Take a lot of time to justify why you think that particular reason was the most important. If you can, think about, are there any links between these? For example, we could say Parliament's demands over money is a way that it was trying to gain extra power for itself. So can you link any of these causes together?